How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Fourever Arsenal podcast, episode 3 of the season. Obviously, we are on YouTube now. We have been on the app over the last couple of years, but by popular demand, you guys wanted it. That's why we're here. So first and foremost, make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't already. And make sure you guys leave a comment after the show. Give us your thoughts, opinions. I'll definitely be in the comment section after replying to a couple. So make sure you guys do that. This is about you as much as it is about us. I'm back with the regulars, Jordan, Lee, James. We're going to preview the upcoming Leicester game. We've already talked about the Palace win. If you haven't seen that one already, make sure you guys check that out. It came out on Sunday. So make sure you go show some love to that video too. So let's get into it. Well, before we actually get into it, rather than jump straight in with Leicester, I want to touch in on the All or Nothing documentary. Wow. What happened, Lee?
I thought he was going to put the league table up. Sorry.
No, they've already seen the league table.
No, sorry. I thought he was just going to put it as a surprise. Sorry, Mark.
You're second, mate.
I was just doing it to make you feel good, James. You know, like because it ain't going to happen very often. Like you actually go first today, and this is probably the last time you will go first. So enjoy your moment.
Thank you.
He actually sighed when I wanted to move on to a topic. All right, we listen. I don't have the league table in the background today because I brought it up on the last show, but I will go through it. All James is top 4 points. Lee is second on 4 points. I'm in third. No, Jordan's in third.
No, I'm in third, actually. I'm in third.
3
all
points.
By alphabetical order. That's all it is, people. That's all it is. But yeah, first things first. All or Nothing. As of now, this is being recorded Wednesday evening, so the next 3 episodes will be out in a few hours. And by the time you guys are watching this, the next few episodes will be out. But I haven't really touched in on it with Lee and Jordan. I talked to James about it on the review. If you haven't watched that already, that was out last Thursday. We'll be reviewing the one episodes 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow. And you'll see that live just before this goes out. So yeah, you'll all make sense of it when it happens anyway. But Lee, Jordan, let's start with you, Lee. What did you make of the first 3 episodes and generally your thoughts about it so far?
Well, generally, I was panicking about it. I'm going to be honest, with the snippets and everything like that. I was a little bit worried about it. But after seeing it, I got no problem with it. I thought it was quite good. It was insightful. I liked some of the things that they do. What it showed me is like things that are happening in dressing rooms in the professional game happen in the semi-professional ones as well. Not much difference. Do silly little things to try and keep you going, trying to keep you concentrating. I like the one about the concentration things and everything like that. We used to do little games like that just to keep concentration levels and everything. Because funny enough, footballers lose concentration very, very quick. So that's one of the good things there. I like the reaction of Mikel Arteta after the Everton game. I like that. You know, if I say something now, I'm going to regret it. You know, it sort of warned the players what was going to happen if they didn't get on their game, and they didn't take notice of him. Listen,
half-time. So sorry, but half-time in that Everton game was a big moment for me of the first 3 episodes. Maybe the biggest for me in terms of Mikel Arteta. We was already leading, but he still wasn't happy about it.
No, we didn't play well, did we? We weren't playing well. We was 1-0 up. We needed to improve. We didn't, and I like that reaction when he said that. You know, if I say something now, I'm going to regret it and walk out. I've been in dressing rooms when that's happened, and I you know, you can see what's going to go on, and the players didn't heal it. Listen, that happens all the time to players. That's not just Mikel's fault or whatever. That was an insightful thing. The only thing that I didn't agree with on the day, listen, the rubbing of the hands, I love that because they got the win and they bantered it out afterwards. The only one that I wouldn't have been on board with if I was a player as well, an experienced player or whatever, was the speakers thing with Anfield, because it is a myth that it's an intimidating atmosphere. It's nowhere near what it was. I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's nowhere near what it used to be like. As far as intimidating atmosphere is concerned, you know, Crystal Palace is more intimidating than that, and that is a fact. But at the end of it, I think he come out of it all right, and the club come out of it all right, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we have next in it. Like, you know, I was honestly, guys, I was at a point where I thought, oh, do I really want to watch this? I don't really want to watch it, and then I watched it and I thought, oh, hold on a minute, ain't too bad. You know, the only thing that you know that there's going to be some pain because you know what comes at the end. But listen, I knew we was going to lose to Everton, Man United, and and Liverpool in that third episode. But I watched it and I enjoyed what I see, if you know what I mean, like from a reaction point of view. And I think that, it ain't been too bad.
Yeah, Jordan, thoughts on it?
Just first of all, this is a platform for the fans. We're a platform for the people. I just want to say a big up to an Arsenal fan I met today, who's a big fan of yours, actually Turkish. His name was John O. He was one of those guys that works on the street corners for charities, Centrepoint, the homeless charity, and he recognised me with glasses on. Like, you're the guy from AFTV. Big up Turkish. So I said I'd give him a shout out. So big up John, big Arsenal fan.
One that bigs up Turkish deserves some love. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he named you. He's like, yeah, Turkish, my guy.
He didn't name Lee Judges, did he?
He didn't. No,
Yeah,
he didn't.
I
Sorry,
thought
bro.
so.
Sorry, man. Maybe next time. The documentary, similar to Lee, I was expecting to kind of cringe. I was expecting to watch it kind of like, just thinking it'd be a little bit of a gimmick and a bit of a car crash. And because more often than not, these documentaries, I think the clubs and the people involved in documentaries come out looking worse than they do better. The first two episodes I thought were pretty balanced and pretty tame and pretty okay, and quite reflective of what was happening at the start of the season. I heard a show that Robbie and Curtis did a week or so ago. They were talking about it, and Robbie made the point that he thought it was quite balanced in terms of the fans they spoke to, in reflecting how the fans felt in those first 3 or 4 games. Some of the fan base, we have to be honest, were saying, sack him, get him out now. He's not good enough. This guy's going nowhere. Get rid of him. But there were some fans that were saying, just relax, let's just see it through, blah, blah, blah. And I think that is honest. That's how it was. The fan base was split. I think it leaned towards more fans thinking, actually, this guy isn't the guy. But I thought that was quite fair and quite unbalanced. Curtis made a point about the fact that documentary is clearly doing Mikel Arteta a positive service. It's clearly a narrative that Mikel Arteta is the guy that the club believe in. They are backing him. The owners really like him. Edu really believes in him, and that's okay. That's fine. But I kind of came away with agreeing with Curtis in that they want Mikel Arteta to be seen as the guy that has quite a lot of control and is the young, upstart, fiery, intelligent, creative manager that can take Arsenal back to the glory years. Whether he does or doesn't is to be seen. But I thought overall it was okay. I mean, as Lee mentioned, let's see what comes up in the next few episodes, because we know what happened in terms of Arsenal's season. What we don't know is what was happening behind the scenes. So let's see what happens. My final point would be, Mikel Arteta's been getting a lot of heat from, I think, a lot of rival fans about his team talks and how he does what he does. The Anfield thing was slightly cringe. I'll agree with that. But generally, the heartfelt, emotional, long lectures that he was given, I didn't have a problem with those personally. I didn't have an issue with those. I think if you look at most managers, especially from the continent, I think that will be reflective of how they try to connect with their team. And I know a lot of people call him like Pep Light and a Pep wannabe. I reckon Pep does do that as well. I reckon Pep does do a lot of that too. The difference is Pep's got a bit more time behind him, and he's got a few more trophies behind him as well to kind of make those seemingly comical half-time or pre-game team talks look actually quite credible. When he does it, Arteta does it, it's a gimmick and it's a bit laughable. So I expected to cringe a lot more than I did. But overall, I thought 3 episodes in, I'm pretty okay with it.
Pep Guardiola played a Champions League final without holding midfielder. Everyone has moments where they're trying to do something different because they think there's a hurdle they've never been able, well, not never, but since Barcelona, Pep hasn't been able to get over this Champions League hurdle. He wants to try something different, innovative, and maybe send a little bit of surprise. So that can happen. Arteta's way was, and by the way, it's not completely out of nowhere. I believe it's something that they've done in the NFL. I think it's something they've done in Spain before. It's not. This is a good idea. I've just plucked this out of nowhere. There's something behind it. But I agree. It didn't look great. Didn't work. But, it's one of those things. If we'd got something out of Anfield, and I know this isn't a popular thing to say, that first half, we were very competitive. I think the young team kind of collapsed in that second half. And when we were saying, and it's one of those horrible things that a lot of people attack you for saying, it was 4-0, but it wasn't like the other 4-0s, right? No one likes saying that because you tend to get attacked for that kind of opinion. But there was a little bit of truth to it. So whatever, it didn't work. But I'm with Jordan. A lot of the other things I've tended to have really liked, if I'm honest. And a point that was made on Twitter is that when you are doing however many team talks, 40 a season, 50 a season, and you've got, you're seeing them every day in training or whatever, you've got to mix up how you're delivering the message.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
I agree with everyone so far, especially when Jordan mentioned the first episode in particular and the balanced view of it going into the season. I was like Jordan heading into the series being released. I didn't think I'm going to take much from it. I haven't taken much from it yet, but I did think it's going to be heavily cringe, whereas I think they've done well so far in the first 3 episodes, especially that first one in highlighting the divided opinion heading into that season. It was divided going into last season. So then credit to them. And the club took a massive risk agreeing to this Amazon All or Nothing documentary. And the season took many twists and turns. In the end, as fans, we obviously don't feel it ended well. It didn't end well. But do you get the feeling that maybe the club or the owners were vindicated in their decision to go ahead with the Amazon All or Nothing? Because it was a massive risk.
Go on.
Go on, James. Go on. No, you go.
Well, sorry. I think what I was going to say is, and this was triggered by something that Jordan and Lee was saying as well, that they're obviously going to slightly make it the way they want it to be portrayed. But one thing I'll say in defense of the club is there's actually very few other opportunities to show the world. In fact, are there any other opportunities to show the world the good things they do? So when Josh Kroenke's sitting down telling Mikel, at the canteen that, listen, we back you. We're a team, we're a collective, whatever. Or when Arteta has these moments like Stuart McFarlane delivering the team talk or, the hand rubbing, whatever it is, that actually does come off. And they want to show it. And it's something that we can be proud of the club for getting right, let's say, or proud of a certain individual. We can look at it and enjoy it. I don't blame them for when he's showing that because the club will get criticized for a million things over a season, whether it be the management of a player, whether it be a certain result, whether it be a signing they didn't make, whether it be whatever. And those criticisms are probably just in one way or another. So if they want to make this something that is their opportunity to show what they do well and what they are proud of, I don't really have a problem with that. As long as it's honest, as long as they're not trying to twist things that weren't great into, actually, this wasn't so bad. Be honest with us, but in a good spell, like winning at Leicester, that was a good day. I enjoyed that. It was a really good performance. You want to show us the team talk before and then the banter after, I'm all for it. I like those kind of things. So I think, have they been vindicated? We'll see, because we've got some crunch episodes coming. The first 3 are actually probably some of the easiest because we went through a nice run by the end of episode 3 and all that. But I think largely, I'm definitely understanding the club more through it. And understanding in the way they want me to understand it, but they're not acting. I will say that they're not acting.
I'll tell you what was a good thing as well. Good insight to it was, that first game. They took their cars to the game. They had to drive their own cars to the game. Just little things like that. You think like, oh, you're up against it anyway, like away from home with players going down with illness and whatever for COVID, and then they've had to drive to that game. Now, if anybody's ever done that, you drive to a game as a professional footballer, that's something you're not used to. You got to drive there, like the concentration for the road. Then you got to get out and then focus on the game. Just think normally you're sitting in the coach, relaxing, getting driven everywhere and all that. All those little things are so good little snippets that bring you back into the real world of what football can be like. I've been fortunate enough to play where you get taken to the games on a coach, but there are times when you've had to drive, you know what I mean? So the reality is it's so human, you know what I mean? They're put out of this super, like, in a different world, and when it comes down to it, they're not. It's just very, very like thin lines between success and failure, and just seeing that I thought was quite intriguing, I've got to say.
Just a couple of points that I wanted to kind of mention. The first one was, James, you mentioned earlier on that this is probably the only way the club could really expose what's really happening at the club under the belly via someone like Amazon to the rest of the world. And I would say, but is it? Because Arsenal could internally employ a production company to do this and put it out on their own platform. They do decent, I think, pretty behind the scenes access on Instagram. They put out like 2-minute little clips of training and stuff. That they could have done this themselves and owned the whole rights to the whole thing, and had complete control over it. Which leads to my second point, which is more of a question that somebody posed to me. And my first answer was quite adamant, and I thought about it. And I thought maybe not so much. Do you guys think that Arsenal actually do have a say in what goes out? And the reason why I asked that is because the obvious answer is, well, yeah, of course they do. They wouldn't let anything go out that they've not approved. But then if you're Amazon, you don't want to be putting out a PR, an advert for Arsenal Football Club. That's not your agenda. You want to put out an authentic, gripping, honest, as you said, James, I agree, documentary of what is really happening behind the scenes. So if you're Amazon, would you allow Arsenal to have final sign-off on what do you guys think that Arsenal did have final sign-off, or do you think that actually they allowed Amazon and trusted them to put out what was really happening?
You're going to find out on this Aubameyang thing, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I really think that what happens in here, what's said and what's not said, will tell you all you need to know. And so I'm very interested in this episode because there's obviously things that have gone on. So we'll have to wait and see. So I personally do think that Arsenal have some sort of say on it.
Yeah.
But then I look back. I'm going to be honest, guys. I've never ever watched the Tottenham one. I've not actually seen the Manchester City one either. I've watched Sunderland till they die, but I have seen clips, and the clip that they do of Dele Alli and the clip they do of Danny Rose don't do them no favours whatsoever. No favours whatsoever as professional footballers. Yeah. So, from that point,
Danny Rose came out of that looking badly, but I don't think Spurs did.
Yeah, but exactly. It's not. Is that fair to make a player that's
no
on your books?
Well,
really
from
bad?
Amazon's perspective. Sorry, Amazon will want to make more of these, right? So if they come out and in every doc they expose everything in the club, they're not going to get any club signing onto it going forward. So there's an interest from their perspective to say, listen, we're going to make you, we're going to make you look good, but we need to get something juicy ourselves out of this. And thanks everyone for the spoilers on social media. There are some who have actually seen the coming episodes that are out by the time you're watching this. And listen, they don't really spoil it too much. But one of the things they do say is there's more about this Aubameyang thing than you think there'd be. Now, going to give myself a little pat on the back. I actually thought there would be because there's an opportunity to maybe really put to bed what happened there. It was a really divisive topic amongst the fan base, actually. And things like that are good for Amazon. Like they want to be able to show that.
Well, the reason, let's be clear that apart from the collapse at the end of the season by Arsenal, the most interesting and explosive thing that happened during the whole season was the Aubameyang, the falling out of Aubameyang. I might have missed it, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've not seen any clips of around Aubameyang and his departure. So I'm not sure if that means that actually. Oh, there are. Okay, because I'm not sure if that means that the stuff with the Aubameyang and that episode is going to be pretty dry, or if they're just saving it completely, and then episode 4, bang! Oh wow, that's what really happened.
No, some of the spoilers insinuate that they're going to delve into it a bit, but at the same time, different people will want different levels of delving. The clip we saw is Arteta mentioning it to the rest of the squad that after the last
I saw that one. Yeah.
Aside from that, I haven't seen any clips, but like James said, there's a few people with the spoilers. And James, you mentioned the crunch episodes coming up. It was around Aubameyang, and he's currently being linked to one of our rivals for top 4 this season, Chelsea, and heavily linked at that. Just today, earlier on, Sky Sports said or confirmed that they're ready to go for De Jong and Oba as long as Barca give the green light. Jordan, let's just start with you again, just straight back to you. How would you feel if Oba was to sign with Chelsea? I'm being asked the question a lot. My answer is I don't care too much, but what would you feel?
First of all, I think it will happen. I think they will sign him. I think he will be at Chelsea by the end of the window. What do I think? Again, I'm with you. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less when he went to Barcelona, and everyone is telling me, Curtis, oh, he's scoring, Laurie. He's scoring goals at Barcelona. He's got 5 in 9. I couldn't care less. He wasn't scoring for us. He wasn't scoring. He wasn't playing well for us. Something had happened there. I couldn't give a damn. Barca, Chelsea, Man U, he's not my player anymore. If he'd have left our team, having been having played really well and we kicked him out, I'd be a bit irked. But the fact that he's not our player anymore, and when he did leave, it wasn't working. I couldn't give a damn. Because, oh yeah, but his goals might fire Chelsea the top 4, top 3. That's just for us to then, we've got to handle our own business. I couldn't give a damn. I'm not going to boo him. I'm not going to clap him. I just don't care. But I think it will happen. I'm pretty sure. I think we need to prepare ourselves for the fact that he will be in a Chelsea shirt come the end of the window, is my prediction.
Turkish, how do you feel?
I'm pretty much the same as Jordan. We've got Jesus now.
Yeah.
And my focus is more on Jesus than what Aubameyang's doing and what Chelsea are doing at this moment in time. But Jordan mentioned something that, context changes. And come May next year, if Chelsea pip us to top 4 and Aubameyang's banged in 18, 20 goals or whatever it might be, then I am going to feel a certain way. It's not.
But Turkish Chelsea were pipping us when we had Aubameyang. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll let him have him. I reckon that they ain't going to do that well with him. They need someone that can hold the ball up. What was his worst thing that he does? He can score goals, can't hold the ball up.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think it is what it is. Listen,
Can I tell you why I care about this, right? Because it was such a debate, really. At least the debates I got caught up in was Aubameyang losing it or in poor form. So basically, is it Aubameyang's fault? And I did think there was some weight to this. Arteta was trying to ask him to do things that didn't come naturally to him, dropping into midfield. Never mind. Go check it out, though. Laurie will kill me if I don't mention to go check out the Talkies Cheap show. So and I think the reality is a little bit of both. But if he goes to Chelsea and fires and is in great form and is scoring at the rate he was for a good 2.5, 3 years at Arsenal, then you do start to think like that's a problem in Arteta's management, that he had a player that could do a certain thing, but was more worried about them doing what he wants. Was there a Conte quote the other day that said the players should be more worried about pleasing me rather than me pleasing the players? Was that right? Now, I think there's a lot of truth to that kind of thing, but also when you've got a player who can finish and score like Aubameyang did for so many years, you've got to also devise to a degree a system that gets the best out of him. Tuchel didn't always play through at the back at PSG at Dortmund. He sometimes did. At Chelsea, he's always played it because it suits what he's got. Anyway, you get my point. So I think it's really going to be interesting. Now, my prediction, while I really like Aubameyang, still have a lot of affection towards him for what he did in an Arsenal shirt, the way he was with the fan base, all that. My prediction, I could easily be wrong. I don't think it's the right move for him or Chelsea. I think he's scoring goals in La Liga. He's part of this new Barcelona, whatever it is. And I just think I think he was done with the Premier League. He showed he could score in it and he'd moved on. I don't think it's what Chelsea need. I don't think it's what he needs. So it'll be really, if this works, it would surprise me. I'll be honest. It would.
I've got to say this, and it will really annoy me. I don't, look, I've got no problems with Aubameyang. I quite like the guy. Do you know what I mean? So if he goes and scores goals for Chelsea, so be it, right? But I will not have it as a bashing for Arteta, because if that's the case, why didn't he do the business? Why didn't Tuchel do the business with Lukaku? You know what I mean? So you can. It's just if he goes there and does well, great. If he does, I want him to go there and not do well, because it's Chelsea. Nothing to do with him and nothing to do with because I want to prove that Arteta is better and not better enough. It's got nothing to do with that. I just don't think that if way he plays at Barcelona, he's not the focal point of the team. We know up front, and I think that suits him. There was a lot of pressure on him to be the focal point up top. He wasn't capable of doing that. He's an off-the-shoulder striker. Now, do Chelsea need an off-goal striker? I'm not sure. We're waiting to see. But I can see that probably like Barcelona do. That's why he done particularly well with it,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Chelsea still seem to be making big moves. A couple players still linked over there. That's why we've still got to make sure we get our business done.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we don't need to focus on anyone else but ourselves.
Hasn't Lacazette made a good start at Lyon? Am I seeing that correct? I think he
scored a penalty. I think he scored a penalty in his. Actually, he got an assist as well.
Turkish is rude. Turkish
Sorry,
is rude.
I thought he'd scored a few good goals in pre-season as well.
No, because on
Liberty
YouTube,
joke,
yeah,
right?
I saw a video and it says Lacazette amazing debut, and I clicked it, and then it was a little assist and then a penalty, and I thought, what's amazing about this? I thought he banged in a
All
couple, and one was a scorcher, but yeah.
I need to go check him out. I mean, listen, I slightly contradicted myself. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Aubameyang did well. Then I said I would be surprised. Ultimately, I don't think he will do well at Chelsea. I don't think he'll be the striker they need. But he's proven he can score goals over his career. So if he did, I guess no one could be overly surprised if he did. But yeah.
Nah. But listen, Oba's a thing of the past. Jesus is a thing of the future. This Saturday, we have a match against Leicester City, our season opener at the Emirates Stadium. Leicester coming off a 2-2 draw against Brentford at the King Power. 2-goal leads. Brentford come back into it. And we're obviously coming off a 2-0 win against Palace. The first thing I want to ask you guys is, with Tierney getting some minutes under his belt, Tomiyasu in his second week of training, do we go in with the same lineup that we did against Palace?
100%.
James nodding 100% from Lee. Jordan?
Yeah, I would start again. Yeah, go again.
A couple of weeks of training for these guys, and then maybe it's a better question to ask.
We started so well against Palace, and that was the team. And the hope is,
and finish well.
Kind of, Yes, true. I put that down more to fresh legs and Palace sort of losing hope as it went on. I just think the benefit of the doubt you give to Arsenal is brilliant. It's the first game. You did it over 30 minutes. Against Leicester, we want to see it at least 45 to 60 and then comfortable for the rest. And then as we approach game week 4 or 5, you want to see us really dominating games quite comfortably, especially with the run we've got. And 3 of our next 4 games are at home. It's a real opportunity here. It's a real opportunity for Arsenal to make a really, really bright start. And as me and Turkish said 1,000 times in the last couple of weeks, it actually eases the pressure on the transfer window, allows Edu to kind of quietly do his job because no one's sort of knocking on his door going, where are the signings? We're desperate help. So, yeah.
I think it's a big game, but I think it's also very important that we won that first game against Palace because, the confidence at Arsenal, not only I think amongst the team but amongst the fan base, is quite fragile.
It's the tone,
I think if we'd have lost that first game, I think we've got to be real. I think a lot of us that maybe were excited going into the season and thought off the back of a good preseason we were onto something good. A lot of us would have been thinking, "Oh, hang on a minute, is this just the same old Arsenal?" So we've now kind of almost ticked that box, got off to a good start, clean sheet, really good debut from some of our new boys. That's like, phew, okay, we've got that out of the way now. The next one is, what I don't want to happen this season, guys, is I want to go under the radar. I don't want to be the big story come Monday morning on Talk Sport or Sky Sports or BBC Sport. I want just a nice, boring 1-0 win against Leicester. What I don't want is, after a really good first game of the season, we then lose somehow 3-2 to Leicester on Saturday. I don't want that nonsense. I want consistency, I want clean sheets, and I want control with games. And I don't care about lots of goals. I'll take a boring 1-0 right now. I just want to bumble along nicely. As James mentioned, we've got some nice fixtures. I'm always a bit wary about title run-ins or top 4 run-ins, and because I don't know what an easy game is. But I know what James. I do know what James means. On paper, there are games where you think we are favourites for most of those games. Let's kind of get those first 4 under our belt and get a bit of momentum, get used to each other before the shock result kicks in. I don't want game 2. Oh, there you go. Had a good first game, but Arsenal have been beaten by Leicester, who are let's be real. Leicester right now are in pieces, so it would be a really, really bad. I think even a draw would be a bad result.
Of course.
I think a draw would be a bad result. So let's just kind of bumble along nicely under the radar. Go. Let's keep Man United front page. Yeah. Let's keep Man United and Liverpool and Spurs and Man City and even Chelsea getting all the headlines. Let's just tick along, do our thing, and build up a little bit of consistency and a little bit of continuity as we kind of get to the first half, the end of the first half of the season.
I think a draw in any of our next 4 games is unacceptable. I'm not saying a draw is the end of the world. Yeah, but I mean, like, to get the standards back up and if we're headed in the right direction, then we've got to start looking at these games confidently. We've got to start, applying ourselves, focus, determination. Majority of the time, that
these teams, 100%, putting them to beds, really going for it. I expect Arsenal to win heavily on Saturday. I'm
You
back it
won't
up.
have matching predictions then.
Is that a little early prediction there, Lee? Is that a little teaser? Is that little teaser?
I'm just trying to. I'm not. I've forced my hand. I'm quite. I think we've got to put these teams to the sword. We've got to go there, I think, and beat Leicester convincingly. Why? Because it's our first game at home. Set a marker down at the Emirates. Back that up with Bournemouth. Then those 2 home games in quick succession, Villa and Fulham. Tough games. Stamp your authority.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Leicester for a second, right? Because I'm one of the few who actually thinks they're going to have a better season than people are expecting.
Yeah, I think they will do. I'm with you on that, John.
Yeah, Rodgers is not a joke of a manager. Absolutely not.
No.
Does it go stale for him a little bit? Sure, there seems to be a bit of evidence of that, but he's no joke of a manager. And the thing about Leicester is I was watching the extended highlights. Okay, fair enough. It's on their YouTube channel. They're going to show the best bits, all or nothing style, all that. But I was looking at their midfield of Maddison and Didi Tiedemann. You could make an argument. That it's better than our midfield.
Totally. Totally.
You could. So that is a crucial area of the pitch where, they might have us. Are they coached as well or whatever? That's a different question. Tiedemann and Maddison have goals in there, goals in them. Then you've still got Harvey Barnes. Vardy's a nuisance all the time, although we did quite well against him last season. Back 4, you're looking at Soyuncu, Fofana, Castagna. They're no mugs. They've still got some really, really good players. What it is with Leicester is they just haven't freshened it up in a while.
Yeah.
But those players on their day when they turn up have shown that they've come on the brink of Champions League football twice. And last year, when everyone said they were having an awful, awful season, still finished, I think, 8th. So
come on strong towards the end of the season.
Yeah, and where should they finish? Probably 7th. But then you could argue where them or West Ham should finish. So when all is said and done, they're a very dangerous side. And if Arsenal take this too easy, I think, great, we did Palace, we got the easy one out the way. They'll be in for a shock because Tiedemann and Maddison will bop a few passes, or they'll swing in a free kick, or they'll play a ball over the top to Vardy, and suddenly it's panic stations. So Arsenal need to really take this one seriously. And if they can, we played Leicester off the park twice last season, home and away. We're the better team. But I don't think they went into either game really in I think they were in good form when we went to the King Power, to be fair, but at their best. And I know that they dropped a 2-goal lead against Brentford, which shows they're fragile, but it doesn't show that they don't have quality because they still went 2-0 up and did their thing. So I'm wary. I really am wary about them.
Yeah, you make good points, to be honest.
Dewsbury Hall, by the way, is a good player. Yeah. I think, I didn't mention him. He's a top player. I agree with you. Listen, this is where it comes down to Arteta's management. This is where it comes down to it. Got to be up for it. Got to be on your mettle every game. And and if they're not, then questions will be asked. And that's why I feel that this is such an important season for Arteta. I really do. And I think that he'll get it right. I'm confident. I'm confident.
I mentioned on. Sorry, go on, Turkish. Go on.
As much as they have quality players, I agree with James. We're heading into this, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. It's the 3rd year of the process. We had a good proactive summer, whereas Leicester just lost their keeper. Fofana's head's being turned by Chelsea. Tielemann's head is being turned. If not turned, he's got a year left on his contract, and we saw his performance levels dip slightly last year in some of the games. So, in all honesty, I'm still confident. I'm with Lee. I think we should just go and get the job done. Jordan, you was going to say something.
Yeah, just that I mentioned on the last pod that I think the most important player for us this season is Partey, but the player that I'm keeping my eye on the most is probably the keeper, Ramsdale. I think he had a very good first season, but the reason why I mentioned him is because we know kind of how Leicester play, and James mentions Maddison and Tielemans, they've got guys that like a shot from distance. So I think in preparing, going to your point there about Arteta, these are the sort of games where I think you can maximize your chance of winning it by minimizing what we know about them. So we know that, okay, Vardy's getting older now, but they still we know Vardy is a slippery character. We know he can finish. We know how he'll play. Prepare that back for Saliba and Gabriel in particular for what's to come from Jamie Vardy. I don't want Jamie Vardy to score a Jamie Vardy type goal. That will piss me off. Like I said, Maddison and Tielemans like a shot from 30 yards. So Ramsdale, during the documentary, going back to All or Nothing, just briefly, seeing how pumped up and emotional he gets behind the scenes, kind of just confirmed what I think we all thought about his character anyway. I don't have a big issue per se with keepers that are very demonstrative, but I hope it's not performative, and I hope that it doesn't distract from his focus. I don't mind shouting, I don't mind throwing gloves down, I don't mind emotion, but at the same time, don't be getting beat from 30 yards against players who like to shoot from 30 yards. So there are things that I think Arteta can do to mitigate and minimise Leicester's chance to win the game. And that just comes down to preparation. I think I praised him for the last game, how I think he prepared Arsenal for that Palace game. I'm asking for the same thing here. And there are certain teams that have certain players that you know what they're going to do. So if you know what they're going to do, practice to prevent that from happening. If they score a worldie from 50 yards or they, a 50 pass sequence and score, okay, you couldn't have predicted that. No one could. That's not how Leicester play, so it's hard to predict for that. But things we know they're going to do, I just hope we are preparing for the knowns as opposed to the unknowns.
On that as well, to be honest, I feel like this Arsenal side is definitely, in terms of the last 2-3 years, Leicester have more preparing to do going into this game. Palace had more preparing to do going into this game.
Yeah.
Villa in a few weeks. I feel like we've got threats of our own finally again. Yeah. I know last season, in terms of development of the young players, it was a good season. But, it was the youngest squad in the league, the youngest manager in the league, as Amazon like to remind us a few times in the first 3 episodes. But going into this season, we've got our threats now, third year of the process. It's time to start having the other teams worried about us and thinking how to stop us and maybe using their plan B and plan C rather than going in with their plan A, which has been the case with Leicester over the last few years.
That's a great point. Great point.
Yeah,
and before I ask you guys for the predictions, Lee did make a special request, so I have put the table in the back end, and here it is.
Look at that.
Off the back of the Palace game, James and Lee got the 2-0 result bang on, so they got 3 points apiece. Me and Jordan guessed the correct outcome and an Arsenal win. But I went 3-1, Jordan went 4-1. We were slightly more optimistic in terms of the goals coming in.
Real fans, Turkish, real fans.
Yeah, man. We want to see the goals flooding in. So long may it continue. All right, cool. As always, people, a little reminder. We go from first to last in the prediction league when we're making our predictions for the next game week. So James will be kicking off this week with the prediction.
Oh, this is such a change. Thank you, guys.
Don't get used to it.
What puts me above Lee out of interest?
Alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order, yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm going to go 2-1 to the Arsenal because I do think we'll come through it, but I think there'll be a little bit of a shock, a little bit of a whoa. I thought this would be a nice 3 p.m. kickoff. No one watching but the stadium and, however else people are watching. And, playing our football and la la la. And actually Leicester, I think, will they'll show something. I actually do.
Tighter than I expected. When Lee said, he thinks we're going to have our way with them, you said you agree, so the prediction might be closer, but yeah, 2-1, we move.
No, I was meant to make a mental note that's what he was saying.
Okay.
I do. I think this is going to be tight.
Lee, what are you going for? Copying James again?
3-0.
Hey, 3-0. He's going in.
I think like the home advantage, Jesus was going to be on fire. He'll get a couple of goals in this game. And do you know what? I think would be too much for him. Their movement and pace would be too much for him.
3-0.
I hope Lee's right.
So
forget this sodding table. I hope Lee's right. That's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
But
clean sheet. Nice few goals. I'm going 3-1 again.
Whoa. I mean, we just jumped
I'm not used to being last. You see what happened? Go on. Even in the list, I put my name ahead of yours.
Look at this. What's going on out here?
Unbelievable.
Point deducted. Shocking scenes.
Point deducted. Maybe the guy 20 minutes late should be deducted points. But
yeah.
Talk about that another day.
I'm actually going with Lee, and I'm not copying him. I had 3-0 in my head. I'm going 3-0 Arsenal. Again, I think it will be too much for them. I have faith that Jesus will fire. I'd love him to get his first goal for Arsenal in the league game at the Emirates. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I think Leicester aren't a bad team. I don't think they're a bad team at all. But I think we'll get the season off to a good start. I think it'll be a good 3-0 win.
3-0. Cool. Apologies for jumping the gun there, Jordan. You got
That's
yours.
all
Then?
right. It's cool. It's all right.
It's not the same as mine. I am sticking with 3-1. I need to play catch up already. I do hope Lee's right, but at the same time, if he's right, then he's built a little lead already in the first 2 game weeks. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
Why are you worried about me?
Oh, you're all right, mate. I'll catch you at some point.
Oh.
You're like Spurs.
You've not been in this thing where you've been leading and like the pressure. Turkish put it on me last season, and I just breezed it through, like, you know. But
listen, Lee, I've got the youngest squad in the division. All right,
you're the youngest on here as well. Yeah, go on, give it all that.
You're like Spurs. You can go ahead earlier on, but we know that eventually we'll rule.
You're going to be
caught
up.
Yeah, we'll rule you in.
No one believes in James. Let us know. Do you believe in James in the comment section below?
Listen, Turkish, I'm not being horrible, but if it does end up 3-1, you will be rock bottom. You know that, don't you? Like, you know, and you've not had that very often.
3-1. If it ends up 3-1, I'll be top, mate.
No. If it ends up 3-0,
okay.
You will be rock bottom. You know, that's something you're not used to.
Yeah, I know, but I thought this season I'll give you guys a little head start.
Oh, you don't want to give the judge a start. I'll tell you that now. I'm just saying, like, you know.
Like I said, people. Go on.
No, never mind. Just
no, you're just going to say, to be fair, you're right. I know you was going to say it, James, so you thought better of it, didn't you? You was going to give me a little bit of praise here, but you forgot, didn't you? Thought, no.
Really wasn't.
No.
People, listen, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below on the Leicester game, on the prediction table. Who do you think is going to take it home this season? Lee took last year's. I took the first year's. It is the 3rd season of Fourever Arsenal. Big up you guys. Love for the love as always. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And make sure you're back here. Every day we've got content, but we are back here as a collective Sunday. So look out for that. Put the notification bell on. And yeah, look, the disco started over at James's house. So enjoy the rest of your night.
Party time.
Love for the love, people.